What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? Tonight, we're going to preview the top first baseman heading into the 2021 season. Let's get to it. And what's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? Hello. 42 people in the chat. What's going on? Hello. Bit of a slow Monday night, not a big news day or anything like that, but that's okay because we are going to be getting into my positional rankings heading into 2021. So each day, well, maybe not every day of the week, maybe, probably not the weekends, but each weekday, I'm going to be releasing my positional rankings. So today I'm going to be starting with first base. I'm going to do second base tomorrow. Then I'll do third. Then I'll do shortstop. Then we'll move on to catcher. Next week, I'll be getting into outfielders, relief pitchers, and then starting pitchers as well. So definitely over the next 2 weeks, expect my rankings to come out each day. I would like to do live streams for each of those, but there might be some nights where I might not be able to. You know, I got some things coming up with work in the next couple of weeks, so there might not be some nights I go live. But if I don't do a live stream, then what I'll do is I'll do a pre-recording, and so it'd be kind of like I'm going live, but it won't really be live. So either way, I'll be getting my positional rankings out each day. So be on the lookout for that for the next couple of weeks. We're getting right into preview mode heading into 2021. Do I got everything working here? Just making sure. Oh, I don't got that music turned on. Let me get that music turned on a little bit. There we go. But yeah, so definitely expect positional rankings over the next couple of weeks. After that, we kind of have like 1 week where I'm going to go over some potential breakout players. And I'm also going to be doing some fantasy drafts as well. Here we go. Last year, I had Matt Olsen at number 1. I was in love with Matt Olsen last year. Loved the glove, loved the power, just loved everything about Matt Olsen. That might have been a stretch for me from last year. But you know what? I just loved me some Matt Olsen. Anthony Rizzo came in at number 2. Freddy Freeman, the MVP this year, coming in at number 3 last year. Then I had Paul Goldschmidt. We had Carlos Santana in the 5 spot. We had Pete Alonso in the 6 spot. Max Muncy, Yuli Gurriel, Christian Walker I got in there. Rhys Hoskins at number 10. And oh my, it was yeah, some of these were a little interesting when I look back on it, coming up with my rankings for this year. Very interesting to say the least. So here we go. Coming in at number 10, starting off my list, I have Carlos Santana. I had him at number 5 last year. And you know what? I'm still a big fan of Carlos Santana. Going to the Royals this past offseason. Still a big fan of Carlos Santana. Not a great year by any means, but this guy has put up just great, consistent numbers every single year. Good power numbers for the Cleveland Indians, even with the Phillies back in 2018. But let's go take a look at the. Stats real quick. Sharing the screen. Here we go. Wow, it looks like slow mode really helped out. John Ray, I'm going to have to keep it at that because that looks like it has fixed the spamming. So I apologize, my friend, but it looks like we're going to have to keep it at that because any more than that was a little much. Hey, Banana, I just put in 2 more mods right there, and that was not helping. It was just a little too much, but it looks like we're doing okay now. So here we go. Alrighty, so if we're taking a look at Mr. Carlos Santana, if you go back to 2019, again, 2020, kind of a weird year, just a weird year all around. He still had a pretty good on base at 349. So again, he played all 60 games, couldn't really get into a groove. It was, not really the type of season that he wanted. However, he still walked a lot. He led the American League in walks. That's fantastic. He still had 8 home runs, so he was on pace for what? I don't know. He was on pace for probably around 25, 30 home runs. So that's right on pace with what he does. He averages 26 home runs a season. So, but yeah, I still like Carlos Santana. I think he's going to be a great addition for the Kansas City Royals. That's a good power bat in the middle of the lineup. Good veteran bat as well. How old is he right now? So he's 34 years old, about to turn 35. So he's not getting any younger, but I still think he's going to be a pretty productive bat for the Royals. Whether or not he plays first base a lot or he DHs sometimes here and there too. I still think he is one of the better first basemen in the league. So yeah, I have him at number 10. Last year I had him at number 5, so he dropped down a few spots, but I still think, me personally, I'm going to keep him in the top 10. Here we go. Moving on to number 9. At number 9, we have Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins coming in at number 9. So another not an amazing year from Rhys Hoskins this past year. Again, kind of a not, actually, I take that back. When you take a look, it was really the batting average that was a little low. So sharing the screen, going to Rhys Hoskins here, about to only be 28 years old. I mean, that's still right about in his prime, pretty much. But if you take a look, really the only thing that looked kind of bad was the 245 average. But if you look at everything else, a 384 on base, that's awesome. 887 OPS. He had 10 home runs, so he was on pace for about 30, 35 home runs last year. So, however, he did miss some time this past year. Only played 41 games. But overall, still a really solid season from him. I want to see more from him to be able to move him up higher on this list. I think I do want to see more from him. I want to see, if you look back at 2019, he walked a lot, led the National League in walks, had a really good on base. He's a really good on base guy. I want to see more of a batting average. I know the batting average isn't necessarily the most important thing, but me personally, I love the power, love the RBIs, but I would love to see a little bit more of a batting average. And for the most part, he's pretty decent out in the field. So, that's where I have Rhys Hoskins. I have him coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8. Here we go. At number 8, we have Matt Olsen. So this guy was number 1 for me last year, and he has dropped all the way to number 8. Didn't really have an amazing 2020 season. Again, it was a bit of an anomaly for most people, but the home runs were still there. However, what really dropped him down on this list for me, let's share the screen. If we share the screen here, what really dropped him down, again, still a great glove, and this is a bit of a drastic fall for him on my list, but maybe I went a little too high last year. Maybe I got a little ambitious putting him at number 1. I loved Matt Olsen. I thought he was awesome. Great glove, great power. He had a lot of RBIs this year. However, I just did not like the on base. Didn't like the batting average. He was pretty much like a home run or die kind of a guy. But if you go back, he has really put up some good numbers. This is 36 home runs in 2019. If you look at the on base, he had a 351 on base going back to 2019. That's awesome. He had a really good batting average. The OPS was really good. However, the on base really slumped this year. Wasn't getting on base as much as he has been in the past. The OPS dropped. The power was still there. He was definitely on track for the same kind of power numbers from 2019. But I'm definitely going to put him lower on this list heading into this year. I want to see more of an all-around offensive game from a Matt Olsen. I love the power. I love the RBIs, but I need more on base from him. The slugging is still fine for the most part, but look at the slugging in 2019 compared to 2020. Got way more bases in 2019. So, but again, another great thing with him is the glove. It's as steady as they come. So, Matt Olsen coming in at number 8 for me. Here we go, coming back to you. So, alrighty, coming in at number 7. At number 7, we got Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso, he was a little higher on this list. going into last year, he was a little higher. I have him dropped one spot. Kind of like Matt Olsen. The numbers dipped a little bit, but the power was still there. So let's take a look at Mr. Peter Alonso, sharing the screen here. Alrighty, we're up to 92 people in the chat now. Awesome to see. We got a bit of a slow start, but we're starting to get some people coming in. Okay, Pete Alonso. Again, very similar to Matt Olsen with the offense. He had a lot of power still this past year. I saw Pete Alonso hit a bomb at Fenway Park. So trust me, that power is still there. Only at 231 though. He kind of slumped towards the end of 2020 a little, or 2019 a little. He had a really good overall season, but or did he slump towards the end of 2019, or did he slump in the beginning? I can't remember. I feel like he slumped towards the second half, but overall though for 2020, the on base was a little low. The slugging was still really good. So that helped out his OPS a lot. However, just the average wasn't quite there. The on-base, I think it could be a lot better. If you go back to 2019, the on-base was so much better. Winning Rookie of the Year that year. 53 home runs. Led the major leagues in 2019. Rookie record for home runs. The guy was out of his mind. Has a lot of strikeouts. He was definitely on pace to finish with around the same amount of strikeouts. So, you know, he definitely took a bit of a fall this past year, but really he didn't lose too much ground. I believe last year, what did I have? I had him at number 6 in 2020, so I have him at number 7 here. With the glove, you know, actually I want to pull up the fielding. Let's pull up the fielding. And you know what? I want to actually pull up some Baseball Savant too. Let me start using that a little bit. Alrighty, looking at Pete Alonso. Okay, let's go take a look at the fielding stats for Mr. Pete Alonso. Okay. Alrighty, advanced fielding. So, you would like to see a bit better at first. I mean, again, the numbers aren't all going to be too great for the first baseman. You know, they're going to be a little more on the lower side. You know, but overall, it did drop. In 2019, he had a 1.8 UZR. That kind of dipped about 2 points total. The defensive runs saved, still around the same. If you go take a look at the defensive runs above average, I guess that actually improved this past year. So in that sense, it did improve. But still, you know, not great overall a little bit with, you know, I think he needs to still improve on the defense a little bit. But that's where I'm at. If we go take a look at Pete Alonso on the advanced metrics, still awesome exit velocity, hard hit percentage, still really good. The expected numbers for the most part, pretty good. The batting average, you know, still the expected batting average, still a little low. Still walks a good amount, still strikes out. Not going to be the fastest guy out there. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at with Pete Alonso, coming in at number 7. Alrighty, coming back to you. Here we go at number 6. At number 6, we have Luke Voit. Luke Voit was not on my list last year, and he has vaulted all the way to number 6 on my list. Really liked Luke Voit last year. So let me actually get some numbers ready here for you. Let me pull up the Baseball Savant. Let me pull up Fangraphs. Here we go. Luke Voit. Okay. But let's take a look at the general numbers from him last year. All right, coming back to you all here, sharing the screen. Luke Voit, awesome season from him last year. That really propelled him up this list. So, Nahawan. Okay, I'll make the slow mode a little. I'll make it a little less. A little less. Here we go. How do I actually... let me see if I can reduce it. Here we go. I had to make it 60. You know, I had to go a little drastic there because that was getting a little ridiculous. Here we go. So, all right, I'll try 20 seconds. I think that should be good. All right, so let's see if that updates. Okay. Let's just go there, and then we'll go a little less as we go. So, okay, here we go. I'll keep that up too. Okay, everything good here? Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty. So, looking at Luke Voit. Let's look at the normal numbers first. I mean, what an awesome season from him this past year. Definitely, in my opinion, if you don't count DJ LeMahieu, I mean, this guy was definitely one of the best players for the Yankees last year. 22 home runs, 277 average, had the 52 RBIs, a 948 OPS. He led the major leagues in home runs last year. He was on pace for a godly amount of home runs. He definitely could have gotten to 50 at least. The one thing with Luke Voit is he tends to have, this was his most healthy season. He definitely lost some weight coming into this year. He still was dealing with some the foot injuries a little bit, but still he was kind of hobbling around a little bit. But overall, I mean, he played pretty much almost the entire season. So that has been one thing that has really dogged him, is the health. But if you saw like this past year, the on base did actually go down a little bit. He definitely turned up the power numbers. It looks like he had to kind of sacrifice some walks a little bit, but it really paid off. I mean, look at the OPS, a big jump in the OPS. If you look, he got on base less, but the slugging really jumped up. This guy was insane for the Yankees last year. Huge bat for them. There was one point where people were thinking, hey, could this guy be the MVP? If you take a look at the advanced numbers, I mean, the advanced numbers were just off the charts on some places. The xWOBA was really high. X batting average was really high. X slugging, the barrel percentage was awesome. The walks, again, he did take a dip in the walks. Strikeouts, he was middle of the road. I mean, the sprint speed is absolutely expected. I mean, really, you're not going to look at sprint speed too much when it comes to first baseman anyway. So, alrighty. What are we talking about in the chat? Oh, we got. Is this that's a fake Jolly Olive? Gotta love it. Goodness gracious. Yeah, you'll notice Jolly Olive. You'll notice with him, he'll have that logo. So, alrighty. But here we go. Back to Luke Voit here. Let's actually take a look at the defensive numbers. Actually, let's take a look at defensive runs above average. He actually improved on that a lot. He had negative 13.6, and that dropped all the way to negative 3.2. So he definitely improved there. If we go take a look at the advanced fielding numbers. Okay, so the UZR took a dip. Or actually, no. No, I take that back. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. His UZR improved a good amount. The defensive runs saved. It was less innings played. But overall, he was making a lot of progress still from the 2019 season. He had negative 12 overall. And in about half, he had in half the games, in half the innings that he played. Or yeah, half the games too. So in half the time, he did cut that down quite a lot. So Luke Voit, I still think you're going to be getting a really solid player from him. I really like Luke Voit. Hopefully he can stay healthy for the Yankees. They're really going to need him this year. Definitely going to need that production from him in the middle of the lineup. Alrighty, so let's get into our top 5. So let's go over our numbers 10 through 6 one more time before I get into the top 5. So at number 10, I had Carlos Santana. At number 9, we had Rhys Hoskins. At number 8, we had Matt Olsen. At number 7, we had Pete Alonso. And at number 6, we had Luke Voit. So getting into the top 5. At number 5, I have Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo took a bit of a dip. So last year, let's actually look. Where was Anthony Rizzo? I had Anthony Rizzo all the way at number 2. So he dropped a few spots all the way to number 5. But you know what? I still think Anthony Rizzo is one of the better first basemen in the game. He could definitely shoot back up this list. Definitely this season. I still think Anthony Rizzo is one of the better players in the game. Definitely one of the better offensive players. And he's also still really good defensively. So let's take a look at the normal stats when it comes to Anthony Rizzo. Here we go, sharing the screen. So Rizzo last year, the power was still there. The average really dipped. The on-base was still there, though. The slugging, not all there. You know, this Cubs offense, it's been in flux for like the last couple of years. And again, you know, this past year, the offense just couldn't figure anything out. So gonna have to wait and see what are the Cubs gonna end up doing with him. He's a free agent soon. Are they gonna re-sign him long term? I mean, he's not even 32 yet, so only 31 years old. I could definitely see him, signing some kind of an extension with the Cubs. But then again, I could also see him going elsewhere. It depends on what the Cubs are going to do. But again, hey, I digress. This isn't about the Cubs right now. This is about Anthony Rizzo. But Anthony Rizzo, like I said, the batting average dipped. He's had a much better batting average in his career, so it really dipped this past year. The OPS took a dip. Looking at the on base, look at the on base from 2019. He had a 405 on base. It was still pretty good this past year, but you can definitely tell he was off. He was still really off, but he did get a Gold Glove. Defensively, he was still really solid. Played almost all the games, 58 games, only took a couple games off. But the home runs were still there. He was on pace for his normal amount of home runs. The RBIs were still there for probably maybe would have fallen short of his average, but, still would have been a decent amount, maybe around like 80 or so. But Anthony Rizzo, did I click out of Baseball Savant? Let me pull that back up. Rizzo here. The advanced numbers still looked pretty good for Rizzo from what I believe. Alrighty, so with Rizzo, so some of them were a little down, but some of them were still obviously very high. The exit velocity, the hard hit percentage dipped, but the xWOBA, batting average, slugging was still, or at least the xWOBA, the X batting average was still good. X slugging kind of are in the middle. Barrel percentage kind of in the middle. But again, not striking out too much, still walking a good amount, not swinging and missing a lot. It's funny, the outs above average took a bit of a dip. Let's actually pull up Rizzo on Fangraphs. Let's see what they had to say about him. He did win a Gold Glove. So, 2020, he was still fine. Negative 0.2 defensive runs above average. For a first baseman, that's very good. So, taking a look at the advanced fielding. Where are we at? Here we go. So the UZR was still really good this past year, 3.9. That's right around what he usually puts up every single year. Had 3 defensive runs saved. So I still think Anthony Rizzo, obviously he won a Gold Glove, so he's still one of the better players at first baseman defensively. I think the offense, you're going to see it come back a little bit. Again, these guys didn't have a full season. Give him a second half of the year, he could really heat up, get that batting average up. You definitely could have seen him maybe finish with like a 260 to a 270 average. So but yeah, Anthony Rizzo at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I have Paul Goldschmidt. This might be a bit of a surprise to some of you, but I'm going to stick with Paul Goldschmidt in the number 4 spot. I still love me some Goldie. Here we go. He actually had a really good year this year, but, and this actually might be the more controversial pick on this list at number 4. But man, I'll tell you, the 3 guys ahead of him, I just liked a little bit more. But Paul Goldschmidt, he had a really good year this past year. Maybe I am putting him a little low, but, hear me out here. I really like what Paul Goldschmidt's doing. Absolutely at number 4. Looking at the average here, it's really good this past year. So here we go. 304 batting average for him this past year. The power was down this year. That's what kind of turned me off just a little bit. The power was down, so I'm not really sure what was going on there. He was on pace for maybe like around 20 home runs, so that was down a bit on his average. So, and the RBIs as well. Not really sure what was going on, but I think with Paul Goldschmidt, one of the things, he tends to strike out a little bit. I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm going to keep him in the number 4 spot. If we take a look at Goldschmidt on... Here we go. So taking a look, exit velocity... Oh, no, that's Anthony Rizzo. Sorry. Waiting for Paul Goldschmidt. Edmund, that's not necessarily a reason why his power would be down. I could see if his RBIs were down, then that could be due to protection, but the home runs for himself, that's not, I wouldn't say that's really because of protection. I don't know, I guess maybe a little bit, but I don't know, he was really off. And they had a very similar offense in 2019 as well. So you could actually argue, they did lose Ozuna, so yeah, I guess, maybe a little bit. But taking a look at Goldschmidt, the advanced numbers are still really good. I still really like Paul Goldschmidt. Don't get me wrong, everyone. Number 4 is, this is a very top-heavy group. So, don't think I'm hating on Paul Goldschmidt here. But all the advanced numbers are still really good. The walks are really good. But yeah, still really like Paul Goldschmidt. Still a really solid glove. over there. What was his out? Does it have his outs above average on here? No. Let me actually pull him up on Fangraphs. Here we go. But yeah, Arenado's he's gonna get some protection for him, so that's gonna be good. So we'll have to see if those power numbers go up a little bit. Here we go. Taking a look at the defensive runs above average. The defensive runs above average definitely took a bit of a dip, negative 2.9 in 2020. So, I mean, but then again, it's always been in the negatives for him. Let's take a look at the advanced fielding. Alrighty, looking at the advanced fielding, the UZR was still really good, 1.3 this past year. Had a run saved defensively. So, I mean, he's always been, for the most part, pretty solid defensively. He's actually had a lot of defensive runs saved in the past. So, still really like Paul Goldschmidt. Really like him a lot. So, at number 4, I have Paul Goldschmidt. Here we go. We're getting into our top 3 now. Before I get into my top 3, everyone, if you are new right now, I am seeing 79 people in the chat. Think about hitting that subscribe button if you are new. We're trying to get to 6K by opening day. So, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button if you are looking for more baseball news and content. Hit that like button for me. We're trying to get this stream out there to more people, especially the ones that weren't able to get in tonight. And go follow me on Twitter as well if you want to talk some baseball throughout the day. But here we go, getting into our top 3. And the number 3 spot, this might be a little interesting, but man, I liked this guy a little bit this past year. I liked him a lot. I've liked what I'm seeing, and it's actually funny. He's not really, it looks like he's going to be there full time this coming year. He's moved around a little bit in the past, but I really like what this guy's doing lately, and that's Max Muncy. Coming in at number 3, really like Max Muncy a lot. He had a really good, I mean, the number, and hear me out here. So give me 1 second. So, alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, so if we take a look, over the past couple of years, the numbers this year kind of dipped a little bit, but I have just loved what this guy did in 2019 and 2018. He was definitely a big factor in the playoffs. Really like that with him, but overall, this guy is mashed in the last couple of years, and that was a big factor for me. To be honest with you, I could definitely see Paul Goldschmidt being number 3. I just kind of like more of what Muncy's done in the last couple of years. The OPS has just been way better to me. The on base has been way better to me in the last 3 years. Again, a bit of a dip this past year, but I think going into this season, a full season at first base, he'll be the first baseman the whole time for the most part. I mean, he could move around some here and there, but I think he's going to be the first baseman for the most part this season. But I still love a lot of what Muncy does. I mean, the guy just hits for a ton of power, drives in a lot of runs. OPS is always pretty good. Let's go take a look here. Okay, taking a look at Max Muncy. Let's take a look here. Alrighty, so while that's loading, let's go take a look at Fangraphs. So this year, alrighty. 1 second here. Alrighty, so, man, was I maybe looking at something? I don't know. I feel like I was looking at something different here. Did I look at the wrong thing or something? I don't know, because I thought these numbers were a little better. -2 defensive runs saved, -1.8. Man, what was I? Was I looking at the wrong guy or something? Anyway, whatever. Anyway, I thought I saw better defensive numbers from Muncy. But looking at what we got here, we still got some good expected numbers from him. The xWOBA was still pretty good. Hard hit percentage was still pretty good. Slugging was good. Barrel percentage was good. Walks, he still walks a lot. So overall, with Muncy, let me actually pull up those postseason numbers. Let's take a look. Where are the postseason numbers? Here we go. So in 2020, I think he played very well in the postseason. Had the 3 home runs during the postseason. Drove in some runs. He had a big home run at one point. Where he just knew it was gone as soon as he hit it. I absolutely love that. But, Max Muncy, I'm kind of giving him a little bit of leeway here. I think you could definitely, if you don't like this spot for him, I think that's completely fine. I could definitely see him being number 4 too. But Goldschmidt, I don't know. I think just think with Muncy. I think he's going to have a full year here at first. I think he's going to be good. So either way, you can go either way here. I think you can do Goldschmidt at 3, or you can do Muncy at 3. So, alrighty. But when it comes to Muncy, though, one more time, I like what he's done over the last few years. And so, yeah, I just like Muncy at number 3. I think he's going to have a really good year this year. So, moving on. Here we go, getting into the top 2. So, I think you guys know who the top 2 are going to be. I think it's pretty obvious. But who is number 1? So, to me, this was kind of easy. When it got to the top 2, it was pretty simple to me who the number 1 and 2 should be. And I feel like maybe you guys already have an idea of who number 2 is. So let's just get right to it. At number 2, I got Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu, what a season last year for him. A juggernaut of a season for him. So let's go take a look at the numbers real quick. Alrighty, sharing the screen. Okay, here we go. So, Jose Abreu, taking a look. This guy was insane. 317 average, 19 home runs, the 370 on base, a 987 OPS. I mean, this guy was nuts, man. He really took advantage of the protection in that lineup. So, man, oh man, this guy was awesome. Awesome. He definitely deserved that MVP. I favored Jose Ramirez a little bit more, but I definitely see it for Jose Abreu too. So let's take a look at Jose Abreu, the advanced numbers. This guy's always been good. He's always had good numbers. So taking a look, this guy's numbers were off the chart this past year. Off the chart. I mean, look at this. He was almost top 5% in all the major categories when it came to the advanced numbers. So exit velocity, hard hit percentage, xWOBA, x batting average, x slugging, the barrel percentage. I mean, even the outs above average definitely favored him. Let's go to Fangraphs here. Let's take a look. What did they have for his defensive runs above average? So still in the negatives, negative 5.4. If we go take a look at the advanced numbers. Alrighty, so he had 5 defensive runs saved, so that's good. Negative 0.7 UZR, that's fine. So Jose Abreu, to me, still one of the really, really good offensive players in this game. He's definitely one of the best offensive players in this game. This White Sox lineup is going to be insane with him. Hopefully he can keep it going. This guy has just had good year after good year after good year. 2019, he led the American League in RBIs. I mean, good grief. This guy has had a heck of a career since coming over from Cuba. I mean, he's had a heck of a career. The Red Sox almost got this guy. If this guy was on the Red Sox, I'd be so happy with this guy, having this guy on our team. But that's who I have at number 2. And to me, it was a little hard for me to put Jose Abreu at number 2 because just because he's so good. But the guy at number 1, let's come back to you here. The guy at number 1 just has been so good in his career, so good this past year. Holy crap, this guy had a really good year in 2020. And I think you all know who it is by now. At number 1, we got Freddy Freeman. This guy, what a season from Freddy Freeman this past year. Holy cow. This guy was off the charts. Let's take a look. Alrighty, let me actually get the advanced numbers ready. Let's get him ready on Fangraphs. Alrighty, and let's share the screen with the baseball reference stats. Okay, so here we go. Freddy Freeman, I mean, holy cow. A 341 average, 13 homers, 53 RBIs, but look at the on base. A 462 on base, a 640 slugging, over an 1100 OPS. This guy was out of his mind. He was out of his mind this past year. And he had COVID in the beginning of the year. How many games did he play? He ended up playing all 60 games. So This guy was insane. He was very sick coming into the year, but he was still able to make it out there. Lost a lot of weight because of being sick. I mean, absolutely a deserved MVP. There was no question. There was no question that he should have been MVP. Look at the advanced numbers. I mean, everything is in red. Everything is in red, except for the sprint speed. Who cares about that? Look at this. This guy was out of his mind. Like, what? I mean, this guy has had really good seasons in the past, but this season, man, this was like another level. I mean, he was already on another level, the last how many years? But imagine if he had a full season. He probably would have had right around the same amount of home runs, probably around like 30, 35 home runs. He would have had over 100 RBIs. I'm really interested to see if he could have kept that OPS above 1,000. I mean, absolutely insane, man. Insane season. Going to look at FanGraphs, looking at the defensive runs above average, in the negatives, but whatever. That's normal for a first baseman. That's not a big deal. If you go take a look at the advanced fielding, the UZR was still really solid. Didn't save any runs defensively, but whatever. That's fine. Didn't give up any runs, so that's good too. I mean, what else is there to say? I think we can all agree that Freddy Freeman is the number one guy. I don't think there's any question there. I'm seeing a super chat. Oh, you know why that's probably not popping up? Because I have it on slow mode. William Fulgham, I really appreciate that $9.99 super chat. MV free. I think that should pop up here eventually. I did slow down the chat, so that's probably why it hasn't popped up yet. So we'll have to wait for that one to come in. But yeah, I could definitely see, maybe putting Paul Goldschmidt in at number 3 on this list. If we go back to, let's take a little recap of this list. So at number 10, I had Carlos Santana. At number 9, we had Rhys Hoskins. At number 8, we had Matt Olsen. At number 7, Pete Alonso. At number 6, we had Luke Voit. At number 5, we had Anthony Rizzo. At number 4, I had Paul Goldschmidt. At number 3, I had Max Muncy. Number 2, Jose Abreu. And number 1, Freddy Freeman. I definitely could see a flip in this. Now that I think about it, I kind of feel like I want to put Paul Goldschmidt at number 3. So I like that. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at something different. I don't know. Because when I looked at Max Muncy, some of those numbers look different. Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. But Paul Goldschmidt, definitely, definitely an argument for a top 3 third baseman. So Max Muncy, I still do think he's going to have a very good year. He's going to be the guy at first base for the Dodgers. So I'm expecting a really good season out of him. But yeah, that's all there is to it, everyone. I'm not sure why that super chat's not popping up. So I really would love for that to pop up before I get out of here. But so I'll kind of hang out in the chat here for a little bit. All right. Well, I'm glad let's turn off the slow mode. Let's see if we can take that off now. So it looks like I'm going to have to maybe enable the slow mode, maybe coming into the streams, because it looks like those bots, they love to get started pretty soon. So yeah, banana, slow mode, I don't like it. I don't like it. So it's 20 seconds between messages. Maybe that's why the super chat hasn't popped up yet. I would love for that to pop up. That would be awesome. So Orioles, what do you got here? Hot take. Belt. Oh, wow. You got Brandon Belt over Muncy. Interesting. I just love me some Max Muncy. I don't know what it is. BZ Baseball, what's going on? How are we doing? You were timed out. Not sure why you were timed out. I don't know. Hosmer got off to a really good start last year. Yanks, he did. But I don't know. He just hasn't really shown much over the last 3 seasons, so he didn't make my list. Edmund, yeah, I agree. I think Muncy's going to have a really good year. Yeah, Jackson. Hey, I was just trying to help you out, my friend. We were getting destroyed. So I might actually go back to just the original mods. So we were getting completely destroyed there. I'm not sure what the heck was. I don't think we've had that bad of spammers in a little bit. That was really bad. I didn't see that like coming at all. But I have been hearing that the bots have been pretty bad. So I'm not surprised. But yeah. Hosmer top 10. Hey, I mean, let's go take a look at Hosmer. Let's go take a look. Hosmer got off to a great start last year. Off to a great start. I just haven't liked what I've seen over the last few years from him. But he definitely had a good 2020 season. He got off to a good start, and then he got hurt. He only ended up playing 38 games. But, I mean, to me, Hosmer, I'm looking at it right now. 2018, 2019, if we go look at the let me share the screen. If we take a look here, I mean, overall, between those two seasons, I mean, his first 2 years with San Diego, a 728 OPS. The on-base was really low. He only averaged 20 homers, 84 RBIs a season. I don't know. I just wasn't really a big fan of Eric Hosmer. He really turned it on this past year. Really turned it on. So he got off to a really good start. I mean, he was really on a good pace. But then he got hurt. Whatever it was. Did he get hurt or did he get sick? I don't really fully remember. But yeah, the defensive wins above replacement was still good on Baseball Reference. I mean, it was a 0, but hey, it's better than negatives. What he usually gets in the negatives. So he was doing fine there. But yeah, Hosmer, I'm gonna need to see a full season out of him for me personally to put him in my top 10. So, Andrew Lee, I think he got COVID, didn't he? Or no, he didn't get COVID. I think he had a stomach issue. That's right, Andrew Lee. That's right. So. But alrighty, yeah, Hosmer, I definitely want to see a full season out of him before I put him into my top 10. So, alrighty. John, how did that spammer have so many accounts? I got no idea. I don't know what the heck was going on. So, where is Heimer Candelaria? Not yet. JH Sports, I appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that. Hopefully we can keep growing. I'm trying to get to 6K. Yeah. I mean, Alex, man, Oakland, they've had just some... Oakland, man, they do great. They do great at developing these guys. I love Matt Olsen. I'm hoping to see a higher average from Olsen this year, getting that on base, back on track for him. The guy can just hit for some power, man. But alrighty, everyone. I think I'm going to get out of here. Right when David Knight comes in, we are ending the stream. I apologize, David Knight. David Knight, we had to put on a couple of more mods. I might go back to the normal mods, but I definitely needed some help tonight. We were getting some decent, good amount of spamming earlier, so I had to turn on slow mode in the chat at one point. That completely diffused it. And so then at first I added a couple of moderators, and while they were doing work, it just seemed like, all I was seeing in the chat was just all these like deleted messages, and it's just like, all right, what's even the point? But yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why people want to spam so much and make these bots or whatever. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with the baseball YouTubers, but I know on Streamlabs, I know they have an automated bot, which I might actually do, where it kind of just like hangs out in the stream, and like anyone that starts doing stuff like that, they just get removed right away. But I might have to turn on slow mode a little bit, maybe like do 5 seconds in between each message, or 10 seconds or something like that. So, but yeah. So everyone, those are my top 10 first basemen going into 2021. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be live tomorrow, but if I'm not live, I'll do a pre-recorded video for my top 10 second basemen heading into 2021. But everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. And yeah, that's all. But everyone, thank you again. And as always, I'll talk to you next time.